pursuit of money killing art? Let's talk about it. On one hand, capitalism kills creativity. On the other hand, artists deserve to get paid. Today's video is the third in a series where I am talking about how to make money as an artist. My first video, I talked about crowdfunding my short film. My second video, I talked about how I know artists make money, how I make money, and how publishing works and paying you to make money. And today I want to talk about, should we even be trying to make money off of our art? If you're new here, hi, my name is Lauren Marie Fleming. I'm an author, filmmaker, and story coach, and my goal is to share the process of my creativity and how I make money and how I make art so you can also do it yourself. Money is such a hard and loaded subject as a writer, but it's important while we live in capitalism that we have access to resources. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the nuance of the pursuit of money as an artist. If you want to get farther into how to make money as an artist, check out my last two videos, or you can grab my book, The Writer's Career Guide, which will break everything down for you and give you a tangible way to go out there and try to make a living as a writer yourself. I update it regularly and put everything I know about making money as a writer into this because I want you to be able to thrive as a writer. Check it out with that link below. Now let's talk about whether you should make money as a writer. That's a question that I sit with personally and I get all the time. My gut instinct is, hell no, I deserve to make money off of my art. And if I'm going to make a lot of money off of my art, it actually inspires me within capitalism to hustle more. On the other hand, I built my company schoolforwriters.com up and spent so much time trying to build it and scale it and make it a multiple 6 figures to 7 figure business and hiring people and paying contractors that I didn't really make a lot of art. There was an artistry to what I was doing, for sure. But mostly it just felt like I was hustling for this idea of success. It took me 20 years from when I started my very first novel to when my first traditionally published book came out. That was 4 different agents, all of them really big names. That was sending my book out to publishers 3 to 4 different times. And because Fat Girl, which was my debut novel, was 7 years from when I started it to when it was out in the world, almost to the week. In that 7 years, it had 4 different agents and went out to publishers 2 different times. I had hundreds, if not thousands of rejections. And through all of my books, all of the rejections, a couple things kept coming up. One of them was biphobia and queerphobia and various different oppressions against LGBTQ people. I even got someone saying, "You have an amazing voice, this is amazing, no one's ever gonna buy a lesbian book like this," for one of my earlier books. I had another publisher approach me about my Body Love program and then say that I didn't have a big enough following and I wasn't popular enough online. Never mind the fact that they found me online and came to me first. My very first book that ever went out to publishers was a memoir about writing as Query Bradshaw. If you've been here for a while, you would know I started my career as a writer online having a very popular sex blog and sex column in multiple major magazines. I was in Huffington Post, I was in Vice, I was in Autostraddle, I was in Curve, I was in Nerve, I had Cosmo, I was everywhere. Yet they said they wanted to see a bigger following if they were going to take a gamble on a lesbian. And while I didn't let that rejection stop me, I kept writing, I kept pursuing a career in the arts, I did find myself spending a lot of time trying to build a following online. It's not a coincidence I started a writing school because I wanted to have readers and people who were interested in writing when my books came out. Yes, I care about sharing all this stuff, but I could have shared it in other ways. I spent a decade trying to build up an online following so publishers would buy my books. But what if I had instead ignored publishers and just kept writing? If I had self-published, if I'd written books and used the books to build my following. And it would have felt differently, I think, if I had actually built up a major following in that time, but I only gained a couple thousand followers over a decade. I never got into sales funnels. I could never really go viral on social media. It never was my thing. I am a writer, not a content creator. Those are 2 different things. I'm also not a marketing sales funnel expert. Even though I'm pretty competent at it, it's not my genius zone. Which is why I developed my 33 Asks program, which is a sticker chart that I go down and ask people because that felt simpler to me than trying to figure out the tech of sales funnels and of marketing and of building up this big online following. And don't get me wrong, I love running my school and I love the programs I do and I love the people I get to work with. But I spent way too much time trying to learn to be a marketer so traditional publishing would take my books. And even when I had big followings, traditional publishing still was homophobic and fatphobic against my books. And that was me writing for them. The books I want to write are a lot kinkier and gayer and wilder than any of the books that publishing's ever going to take from me. So was the pursuit of capitalism, the pursuit of money, the pursuit of fame and fortune in this way that I'd been told right for me? Trying to go viral online, that's fame and fortune. Trying to build a 7-figure business, fame and fortune. Trying to have traditional publishing get me so I can see my books at airports and everywhere, fame and fortune. But what part of my artistic self had to be put on the back burner for me to make that pursuit? What would it have looked like if I pursued just being the artist? Is there money in that? It's one of the things I'm sitting with lately is, can I actually make money as an artist? I can absolutely make money as a writer. I've made a whole video on how. I have everything in my writer's career guide on how. I have proven time and again that I can make 6 figures as a writer using that skill set. But can I do it as an artist? Focusing solely on making art, not just on building a business? Don't get me wrong, I still want to build a business. I love being a business owner. I love being my own boss. Oh, I love being able to pay other people for their work too. That feels so good. It feels so good to pay other people for their work. It feels really great to bring people into my home and into my life and help them write their books, to fill shelves with books of people I've coached or ghostwritten their books for them. It feels amazing to see people using my 33 Asks program to make their dreams come true. It feels amazing to have them reading the Writer's Career Guide. I love what I do, so I don't want to stop doing it. But I'm interested in what it looks like to stop doing it as an entrepreneur and lean into doing it as an artist. For example, in the entrepreneurial world, they teach you to build a business that you are the owner of, that you don't ever have to do the operations. You can pay other people to operate it. Something that you can eventually scale and sell off and move away from. That was my goal with School for Writers, was to make it about the company, not about me. To hire people, to hire contractors, to do as little as possible myself so the business could run without me. The goal being I could sell it off and go be an artist. But what people actually came to me for was my artistry. And while yes, eventually I would love School for Writers to have other teachers in their craft, people are coming to learn the craft from me. They are other artists wanting to connect with an artist. And yes, I'm going to share the practical, but they also want the artistry. They're most often business owners themselves who want time to sit in the creativity that I offer. I am a genius story coach. I'm kind of one of the best in the world. Why did I try to build a business around marketing and sales and not around artistry? And this is where I really think it comes into play. I think I bought into the idea that you cannot make money as an artist, and that if you do make money as an artist, you're destroying your art. So I bought into the word creative entrepreneur because then I had creative, but I could make money doing it. I bought into capitalism. Not just capitalism, but like what law school and my time working with business gurus taught me of what I have to do to make money. I'm interested in the ways that you have bought into what you have to do to make money, where there's no money to be made. As I talked about last week, there are so many ways to make money as a writer. I always use the example of like Beyonce and Taylor Swift. They are highly successful artists. And no, not every artist is highly successful. A lot of us are broke and underpaid. But the same could be said for my lawyer friends, my accountant friends, my doctor friends. It just depends on the path you take. One of the things I've been thinking about is, what is the most direct path to something? If you want to be a writer, as much as I would love to have you in one of my programs or to come to one of my retreats, the most direct path to being a writer is sitting your butt in the chair and just writing. So then if I want to be an artist, what's the most direct path to being an artist? If you want to be X, what's the most direct path to that? I've got some questions that I'm sitting with that I'd like to pose to you. I highly suggest getting out a journal and writing down the answers to it if you want. Where in your creative life are you letting capitalism drive it? Another way to think about it is, where are you waiting for that egotistical trade-off? Are you like me and you have 13 unpublished books because you're waiting for traditional publishing to finally give you the approval? So maybe go and self-publish it. You can own that yourself. Are you waiting to have a novel be so good it could win awards or prestiges and so you won't even put it out in the world? Are you trying to find funding for a multi-million-dollar feature film when you need to, like I realized I need to do, just gather some friends and make a movie finally? Are you waiting to take a painting class when you could just, make this ridiculous jar thing in 15 minutes and have a little bit more art in your life? If no one ever gave you permission, would you die having never greenlit yourself? Where can you give yourself permission, yourself the green light, to go and make art? And here's for the business owners out there, myself included, and this is one I'm sitting with. What would your business look like if you optimized for artistry, simplicity, and peace instead of growth and scale? So to answer the question, is money killing art? I think it's how you go about it. I don't think making money off of your art negates it in any way. In fact, I think we all deserve to make a lot of money off of our art and be fully resourced. But if you're letting what capitalism and traditional publishing or the movie industry or the song industry or whatever industry out there determine the kind that you make, if you're silencing your voice or turning down parts of yourself to be more palatable to commercial audiences, then that's something to be thinking about. And maybe it's time to let go of that and lean into the art you need to make, the story you need to tell, the painting you need to make, the movie that you need to produce. Maybe you need to let go of what they say people want to hear and lean into talking to your people. And I say this as somebody who needs to do the exact same thing, because the world needs our stories now more than ever. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my Substack, Instagram, and YouTube, where I'm sharing so much more about the process of being a writer, my 20 years in publishing, and making my first short film. Sharing it all with you because there's no gatekeeping around here. So be sure to subscribe.